So what's up, guys? If you remember on the previous videos, we were doing the 350Z swap and the 240Z suspension using the LS engine. Had a lot of success moments, had a lot of things that went well for me, and had a few hang-ups. So they were going to be using some ISR control arms. Injuku Racing hooked me up with. It's the Race Series. Be really strong and really adjustable is what we need. So I'll show you the problem we're trying to fix today. So this is going to be easier on the ground actually, so I can release that pressure off the control arm. And this thing, I don't know how much plays in this coilover, but it might try to drop. I'll put the jack on the bottom to help support the weight, and then I get the control arm loose and I'll be able to jack this strut assembly back up to the top. If you can see what was going on before, so the 350 cradle, a control arm, just kind of like a cheap control arm off Amazon for the 350Z, all this stuff for the 350Z, the coilovers for the 350. The way that I mounted it was a little bit wider. This cradle is a little bit wider than the 240Z rails, so I kind of widened them with that square tubing. And then these are the mounts for the upper control arm, and what I'm hoping again is that the control arm will take care of the adjustability that I need to kind of get this caster to move the wheel. Otherwise, we might be cutting the mounts and slightly moving them, you know, just a bit. So that might be what happens if there's not enough adjustability. So. Alright, so back after almost two full days of cutting and re-welding the mounts for the upper control arms, we're ready to reinstall the suspension. I'll show you guys what's going on first, how it turned out, and then the installation. Alright, so I got frustrated with it yesterday and walked away from it. Today I've come back out, it's going to do an update. I'd explained how these ISR arms are beefier. So this part of the mount that I had fabbed before for the 350Z control arm was too narrow in this direction. Even kind of squeezing these heim joints and trying to get it in the mount was still too narrow. Just mocking this up entirely on the stock 350Z suspension. So I had to cut all that crap off with a torch. I left this on this side because it's symmetrical to the driver's side. Cut a longer angle iron bracket, this piece, and it kind of goes around the top of it at 3 3/8, and then sandwiched in another plate to bolt this control arm bolt through. So I just kind of tacked this in right now to hold it all in place. I've still got to do this side. Right now I've just got the bolt holding the control arm in, but it still has to be reinforced and sandwiched in for a mount and not have the pressure on this joint. So as of right now, it's just holding it in place. I'm about to cut this angle here at 3.5 inches. Put the plate on this side, and then you can see my hole here, and that's how I access this rear control arm bolt. You know, that'll get a plug in it later, but that's where I got to yesterday, and I got frustrated with nothing fitting and walking away from it. As for the wheel, I fixed it this morning. I'm not sure still, to be honest with you, what's wrong with it. My control arms are symmetrical to both sides. The subframe is square in the 240Z rails. But you can kind of see where I had this cobbled up here is where this mount was kind of mocked up. That's just a little drop down post that I've got this trailing arm bolt welded through. And it was here, and then now I moved it back, you know, then about an inch or inch and a half, the width of that tubing. It's really, really close right here. I'm gonna bump that back with a hammer to get that trailing arm off there. But essentially, that's holding the wheel back in place where it needs to be. And both sides are symmetrical. I don't know, just fitting, you know, two different cars together and then a ton of aftermarket parts on top of that is just, have some strange tolerances. But anyway, I'll finish up this video on how the front suspension gets mocked in. I'm gonna box in those, kind of strengthen that and plate this in, you know, grind it down where it's prettier. And then take the control arm and the suspension back out to finish weld everything and put another coat of, I'm just doing like that spray bed liner up in here to look better than what it did. So I'll show you how it goes. Alright, so you can see how I just kind of gusseted that mount for the trailing arm. Don't worry about this angle. It's gonna pick that trailing arm up when the suspension's loaded back on the ground, so that'll roll back that trailing arm back up. I lengthened those two pieces of angle that you see there, made new plates for the end, and have mocked up the control arms, and it's ready to put all that stuff back in. On both sides, that's what it looks like. So I just use that spray can bed liner just to kind of protect those wheel wells. Like I said, this is not a show car. It's going to be hopefully it's going to perform well for a go car. So I'll show you guys the installation and how it turned out. Alright, here's just a quick shot of the ISR control arms installed in the 240Z. Rev 9 coilovers. Like I said, I'm just going to run those until, hopefully they last forever. Hopefully they perform well. If they don't, then we'll replace them with, a bit more quality coilover. But as mentioned before in some of these videos, there's been a lot of beating and banging and trial fit. A lot of heat exposed to these and grinding shavings while we're in the fabrication process. So, you could understand why we wouldn't do any like KWs, right? So, still come back and work the brakes, rework the brakes. New rotors, pads, probably just paint the calipers. And we'll see what it looks like sitting on the ground. Alright, so I'm stoked to say that took care of the placement of the wheel. Probably take the coilovers down just a bit more to match that aggressive stance the back has. Replace these weak stamped control arms, the stock arms on the 350. And the camber, it's definitely got that negative, slightly negative stance, but it's it looks really even and really close with those arms just set all the way in. So I think we're just going to leave it at that for now until the alignment takes place. But yeah, just a bit more low and she will be sitting right. Alright, well I appreciate it, you guys. Like and subscribe. All the things. Appreciate your support. And stay tuned as this thing gets put back piece by piece.